Yeah. So let's get into our pictures anyway. So I've got sort of three plots, and how many have you got? Just the one?
Yeah, I've got the one. It's not very big either. Mine's mainly more about the people behind the scenes. So I've got like
Yeah.
a lot to say about directors and writers and composers and stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll start with my pitch idea then, and we'll get the plot pitches out the way. So, like I said, I watched Starship Troopers in preparation for this. Because I had, sort of thought along the lines of Starship Troopers. So I'm thinking do something similar to Starship Troopers, but mix in a little bit of Dunkirk from Chris Nolan. You might be thinking, well, what do you mean?
Put Harry Styles in it.
Put Harry Styles in it and show someone taking a dump on the beach. No, no, no. So first of all, I don't want to see any Spartans in this movie, and I know that's a bit controversial, but I want to see the troops on the ground, right? So, my idea is you follow three groups or three main characters, even not even groups, three main characters. You can show their, sort of squad and whoever they're with, which sort of Starship Troopers does. It mainly follows one and two people, but I'd say follow three. You get one person training in the infantry, one person training in the air force as a pilot, and one person training in the navy. Yeah, because USNC is like Navy or something like that. So it's the big ships, that's Navy, is the big airships. You'd think that's maybe pilot because it's in space. No, that's Navy, right? Then they land on a halo ring. The infantry get their mission. So you're following the infantry, right? You follow the infantry, they get their mission. They got to go to the main sort of hub of the halo ring. I think they're called the arcs, to discover what it is, what's in there, blah blah blah. And then they get it, and then they're escaping, and there's tanks and stuff, so they have to call for backup, and then it skips back in time, and then you follow the pilot. You follow them in training. You see them how they're getting on, see what they're learning, maybe show them learning how to fly on different planets and stuff like that. Maybe show a bit more of the universe. And then, they get the call, they have to go and evacuate the infantry. So they fly down, evacuate the infantry. You follow them to, they then get new orders that they have to go somewhere to do a task or another mission, and then it skips back in time. Or no, not just yet. Actually, they go to the mission, they're doing the mission, and then all the Covenant ships start jumping out of space and attacking them, and they're pinned down. They've got no way out of there. Then they skip back in time again. Now you follow the Navy, the squad, the character training up in the Navy. You follow him. You follow what's he learning? How is he learning to operate the ships? How's he learning to operate the guns? You could show them maybe getting into a small little firefight with another enemy ship or something like that. And then overall there's this big narrative going on that they're not really sure what the Covenant are. They're not really sure what they can do, blah 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 blah. And then and then they get the call that they need to go to this halo ring. So they jump into the halo ring and they're firing off all the Covenant airships and stuff, and they're saving the day basically. So I haven't got no real narrative to get through this. That's just my pitch idea. It's sort of Starship Troopers where you're following three main characters. The infantry, you follow them, land on the ground, to exploring, blah 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 blah. Then it skips back in time. You follow the pilot. They land. They then pick them up. They work together to go to the next mission. They provide air support. Blah 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 blah. Then they get in trouble, so it skips back in time again, and then you follow the Navy, and then they come in to save the day. Maybe on something like the Pillar of Autumn or the Infinity. I think is the biggest ship in all of Halo or something like that. You can maybe follow them, something like that, and then they're coming in at the last minute to save the day. And I just think that sort of time skipping adds a nice dynamic to Dunkirk, and I think it would work quite well here. You could show them developing relationships with their squad and stuff, and then losing them because it's war. At the end of the day, this is a war movie, stuff like that. What do you reckon, Ben? I'm sort of running out of ideas to say here.
Yeah, I think a war movie would be the way to go. Very action heavy, as opposed to more of a narrative. Because as I say, even myself, as like, I wouldn't even call myself really a casual fan. I just sort of know the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, that's it. I had no idea about any narrative. So if I would like, that would intrigue me as someone who only knows a bit about Halo.
And you could, and I think what would work well is if they don't attach the Halo name to it necessarily. They call it like I don't know, UNSC or something like that. And I think it would tie a lot of people. Go, what's this sci-fi film all about? Then they realise it's you know, at the end of it or something that is connected to Halo. I think what might work, now I'm talking about it, what might work quite well is you could do something similar to like Halo Wars, where, you know, the Halo Wars, the idea of it is you're up on the ship and you're commanding troops on the ground and stuff like that. You could maybe tie it into that era rather than the Master Chief and all these different Spartans. You could maybe, you know, sort of see it from a point of like Halo Wars. I think that could be quite cool.
Yeah, I would say about like the flashbacks, like the time jumps and everything. Sometimes it can be quite a hard thing to pull off. Sometimes it's seen as maybe a cop out, but I think it works effectively when you sort of bring in a character and then go back quickly and you leave it at like a you know, like a sort of cliffhanger thing. Because yesterday I rewatched Birds of Prey, which does flashbacks very well. When when she enters the police station and then she's like, hold on a minute, who are all these people? Who's Cassandra Cain? Who's
I know what
Black
you mean
Canary? And then it explains it when it gets back to it. And I think it does it really well. And I think this could be similar in terms of you have your very clear like protagonist with the three characters, but then you also have the antagonists coming in at opportune moments to flesh out the characters.
Yeah, I didn't really think of an antagonist, actually, now you say that. I didn't really think of who maybe could be behind it. Obviously, the easy route is to go to the Covenant, but maybe if they followed something like a bit like more Halo 4, where you've got the Didact and you've got the Forerunners, and they're not this great species that they've always thought they were and stuff like that, that could be quite interesting as well. Or even just they're trying to get to this thing on the Halo ring before another, like before pirates or before some sort of, you know, human threat. You know, that could be also quite interesting, which you don't see a lot of in the Halo universe. It's all about aliens. So, yeah, they could do something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my first plot. Did you want to say your plot, or shall I just go through all of my plot ideas?
I can say what I've got quickly. So,
yeah, sure.
So again, I don't know really the stories of these. I know you have the Covenant. I know you have the Spartans. I know you have the prophets and all that, but I don't know how they connect to each other in any way.
Neither do I. So I know a little bit.
So the extent of my research really was just trying to work out what's going on, and I got to the old Wikipedia page and had a little read, and honestly, the plot there, just do that as a film.
Yeah,
I can read it out to you. So it says,
is this of the first Halo?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of pretty much.
Because I think the first Halo has a very interesting, because there's this new threat that people don't know about. It's the Flood, and they're like, what is it? What's it do? And then it follows, you know, you're discovering the Halo ring for the first time. I think, obviously that works. I mean, it does work well, because otherwise there wouldn't be a franchise that there is today. So yeah, just tell that as a movie. Read it out, Ben. What's it say?
Yeah. So it says, in the year 2525, human worlds come under attack by a theocratic alliance of alien races known as the Covenant. Honestly, have that as text in the opening frame of the film. Have
Star
that as
Wars
text
style
on the screen.
Yeah.
Or even like Blade Runner style, Alien style. They've all got just that. Tells you where we are. Tells you who's there.
Yeah,
I think that'd be great. That's all you need. And then it says a little bit about like Master Chief, and that he like what he is, how he was like made and everything. And then it talks about the rediscovery of Halo rings, have that in the film. And they don't really know whether they're meant for good or evil. And then it talks about Cortana's in there, have her introduced. And you have to tell me if I'm wrong here, because again, I don't really know. But is Dr. Halsey, Cortana, are they the same person?
So Cortana is built from Dr. Halsey's mind or something like that. So when Dr. Halsey built all the AI, I'm pretty sure she did, she basically built Cortana from her own, to have her own personality traits and sort of put herself in Cortana. It's not one in the same, but yeah, there is a connection there, definitely, yeah.
All right. But is she still alive though? Or is it like a...
Halsey's alive, yeah. Shows up in Halo 5, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you could have, if you wanted to have her, like show her creating that, because even as you've just seen, I didn't know really what they were. So you could have that. And then it talks about the Covenant going into the Civil War. You have that in there. Maybe
because of the brutes and the elites. Yeah.
Maybe it's just kind of a like a flashback thing, similar to I think it's Infinity War, where we see when Thanos takes Gamora and he's shooting all that. There's just a quick little scene there, but it shows you everything you need. Put that in. And then it talks about the Arbiter, have him in there, and have his little story about helping humans.
Side note, make sure he's voiced by Keith David, absolute genius of a voice actor. I can't believe I didn't think of him earlier. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, Keith David, as voice actor. Anyway, carry on.
And then it says here the human Covenant war ends through though conflict continues to rage throughout the universe. Have that as the end of the film if you want. So just have your characters, you set them up with that line at the opening of the film, and then just go through it, establishing every character. This film doesn't have to be about it doesn't have to have like a big like battle scene or anything. Just establish all the characters. But I know that as I said, it should be more about the action, because that's how the games are. But for me, I would keep that in the games, and then let me as a fan who doesn't know a whole lot about the story, give me the story here. And then let me play the games as playing the action.
I think that would really work. I think what be a good idea, like you were saying, is you're just showing the snippets. Not, there's not this big overarching narrative, or like there's not a main antagonist or anything. But what it could work as is you could see, a 15-minute short film of Dr. Halsey, and it leads up into the events of Halo Reach, and then it cuts, and then it skips to the next bit, and it's you're showing the Pillar of Autumn, and you're showing that Chief's getting ready for something, and then it leads up into them dropping onto the Halo ring for the first time, and then it cuts, and then it's like little mini prequels to all of the games. And I think that would really work, because like you said, I'm a really big Halo fan. I love Halo. I've played all the games. I still don't know what's going on half the time. I played Halo 5 3 times before I understood what was happening, because I was a bit like, well, hang on a minute, Master Chief's, he's bad guy. Why is he bad guy? And then I played it again, and I was like, this ain't too bad, this game. I didn't enjoy it the first time around. I played it again. I was like, actually, no, it's not too bad, this game. I think Halo 5 gets a lot of slack. It's all right if you just, I know people just want to play it as Chief, but I think that would really work. Just flesh out the world for newcomers a bit more.
And have it as like a Birds of Prey thing. Where you have this character, you've got to that point in the narrative, all right, now we're going to tell you how this character got to that point in the narrative. And then we're all going to build up to that point. And
maybe, like you said, maybe not have like a big action sequence, but you could have, sort of the last half hour is them on the ship and they're jumping in, and then, they're like, all stations to, all to battle stations, and they're firing against the Covenant, and then they're sending all the drop ships down, and they get into like firefights as they're trying to land on the ring, and then they land on the ring, and then they're fighting off like, the main people as they've just landed, and then it cuts and then goes into like Halo Infinite or something like that. I think it would be a good setup that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like one final side note is I want all of the sound effects in there. So even the best thing about Halo is that sound effect when your health recovers. Just that when your health bar goes up. That's the best thing about Halo.
Yeah. And I want when you smack a grunt on the head and they're like, ah! I want that on it as well.
Yeah.
Or when I want someone to pick up a plasma pistol and like that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Definitely get all the sound effects in there. I'm just going to go over my other two pitches fairly quickly because I want to get more into the casting, the directors, and that sort of bit. So my second pitch idea is to follow the ODST. Now, the ODST have their own game called Halo 3 ODST, but it doesn't really do them much justice, I don't think. The ODST are cool. They're you don't see their faces, and they're a bit like Spartans, but they're not as like Spartans at the same time. And I think if you ever get a chance, just watch the live action ODST trailer on YouTube, which was obviously for the release of Halo 3 ODST. I've watched that so many times, and it just makes the ODST look really cool, but not that. Like I said, they've got their own game, but not that much is really known about them. They're basically, I think they're orbital drop shock troopers or something like that. That's what it stands for. Something like that. ODST. Basically, they're the SAS. They drop in behind enemy lines and they take them out from the inside type thing. Yeah. Now, I would say give them a secret mission that they've got to drop onto a Covenant planet. The mission is kept, Black Ops, and only one person knows of the mission. Now, this is very similar to actually the ODST game. Only one person knows the true sort of nature of the mission. And that person actually ends up being a Spartan in the end, I think. Can't remember. Side note, ODST, it's got Nathan Fillion in it. I mean, yeah, put him in more things. And he does reprise his role as a Spartan in Halo 5 anyway. But yeah, we'll come back to that. So have him go to this Covenant. They get to the building they're meant to go to, the secret mission it is. And then they realise it's a prison. And they're like, why are we in a prison? Blah, blah, blah. And they find out their mission is to infiltrate the prison and recapture Catherine Halsey. That did, for a point, work for the Covenant, I think. I think that's what happens in Halo 5. Not quite sure. Anyway, so yeah, she goes to the enemy side for a bit. So they have to go in, they have to recapture her type thing. On the way, and before I actually get into it, I should say the premise is this: it's very dark, it's very horror-esque, it's very, sort of unknown territories, like put brutes in there, make them really scary, take out one of the team members really early on type thing. Make this a horror action flick, type thing. But when they get there and they're going through the prison, they actually find 2 Spartan-free prisoners. Now, I've said Spartan-free for a reason, because Spartan Freeze, not a lot is known about Spartan Freeze. Now, you play Spartan Freeze in Halo Reach, right? But not the most is known about them. Basically, Spartan Freeze, they're quick and easy Spartan 2s. So Spartan 2s, they get injected into the bone. They're trained from childhood over years and years and years. And Spartan 2s are brilliant. They're blimmin' 7 feet, 8 feet tall, and they're like indestructible type thing. Spartan 3s were made on the quick and the cheap. They were made quickly, they were given cheap armor, and they were sent on suicide missions. And that's what Halo Reach is. No one survives in Halo Reach because it's a suicide mission, yeah? Now, I would say they find two Spartan free prisoners that have been sent on this suicide mission that they are on now. They previously sent Spartan frees on it. Then you find out that the Spartan frees did free Halsey, but Halsey turned them in, and they won't work with them to free Halsey. So they free these Spartan free prisoners, and they just say, no, we're not working with her. She's terrible, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they capture Halsey rather than free Halsey. I'm putting it in air quotes there. They capture her in the end. Then to evacuate, it's all going wrong, and the Spartan frees come back in to sort of save the day. And then right at the end of the movie, maybe one of the Spartans shoots Halsey, because Halsey loses an arm at some point. So that would be quite interesting to go into, or something like that. And they can maybe touch a bit more on the Spartan free backstory, because, like I said, they're sent on these suicide missions. Not many people know about the Spartan frees. They know Spartan ones didn't really work. Most of them died. Spartan twos is like John, Master Chief even, and his squad. Then Spartan frees are these quick and easy ones that were made, and then Spartan 4 is they're made really easily, Spartan 4s, and they've not got any health issues or anything like that. They're basically special ODSTs type thing. So yeah, I think maybe touch a bit more on that, make it more of a horror flick. But they've sort of already done that in Forward Unto Dawn. So I just thought that's a little bit of an interesting premise. What do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, I think sci-fi horror works very well. I think that's been proven with stuff like Alien.
Yeah.
And I think having this kind of suicide mission sets up a very clear conflict within the film, where they're like, should they be working for these people? Or should they not? Should they have their own agenda?
Yeah.
Which comes up a lot in sci-fi films. Sci-fi films are about human nature. Yeah. When they're put up against stuff that is inhuman, whether that be AI or aliens, etc.
Yeah, true. True.
But then having this kind of, they're working for humans, so it's human versus human, even though you've got aliens and stuff, grounds it in more realism rather than fantastical sci-fi, which I think works really well. And again, pairing that with horror just adds even more to it.
Yeah, definitely. I thought, it's just sort of an interesting premise. The last pitch idea I have is quite a quick and easy one. Just a good old sort of buddy adventure movie. You follow 3 or 4 Spartans, as like a bit of a squad, a bit of a group. They go on a quest to retrieve some special item, and they're just having a good old time. They've got big personalities. And you show the connection between the 3 or 4 different Spartans, and it's like more of an adventure film than anything else. Something a bit like Indiana Jones, something a bit like maybe like the new Aquaman movie, where you're going to all these different spots, and you're just, we're here for a reason. We're here for a reason. We're here for a reason type thing. And it's more just about the bonds that the Spartans form. And I think the only sort of reason I say this pitch is it is a good way to show off all these different locations that you don't necessarily see in the Halo universe. Most of the Halo games, they're set in one spot, and that's about it. I think Halo 2, you start off, I think Halo 2, you probably visit the most amount of places, I would say, because you start off on Earth, you go somewhere else, and then I think you finish on the Halo ring. Because Halo 1's all set on a ring. Halo 3's all set on a ring, I think. Or you start on Earth as well or something. I can't remember. Reach is all set on Reach. So I think it's a good way to show off more planets in this universe that we don't necessarily see. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Bromance around the universe. I want it.
Yeah, well, yeah, not even bromance. Maybe have a few... Well, I'm going to get into the cast at some point, but yeah, have a few females in there. Females. Yeah. Friday night dinner, if anyone's wondering.
And then do exactly the same thing for the clones in Star Wars and make that film.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, maybe, just like, sometimes you just see, I don't know, Rex 5s and Echo. Just do that, but as Halo set in the Halo universe, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, well, Yeah, no, yeah. I think it's just, like I said, it's sort of a bit of a throwaway idea. It's a bit of an easy one, but it's just another pitch. So, but I've
I think
got
that could work really well as a series as well.
good point. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That might work actually better as a series, maybe like a 6-part or an 8-part, something like that. Now I've split my cast into 3, and I've got soldiers for sort of my first pitch, voice actors for my second pitch, excuse me, and Spartans for my third pitch, really, because obviously first pitch you're all sort of soldiers. Third pitch you're ODST, so you don't really see anyone, and Spartans maybe sometimes they take the helmet off, sometimes they don't. So I've put some big names in the Spartans category. What about you? Have you just got just a general cast, or?
Yeah, mine's just sort of characters that I looked up and sort of recognised from what I'd played.
Yeah.
So it's just they might sound really random. I don't know if they're connected in any way, but they're just characters that came up when I was researching.
Okay, yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good point. If I just shall I get mine out the way then, because mine are a little bit here and there, and then yours are actually on the series, you know, the characters in the games. So
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go over mine first. So for soldiers or infantry, pilots, whatever, I've gone sort of young, up and coming, maybe not A-list celebrity type actors. Some are, some aren't. So my first one is Dylan O'Brien. He is in the Maze Runner films. Do you know him?
I'm sure I'd recognise him if I saw a picture. Yeah.
He's in Teen Wolf as well, and he's just good round actor. I think. I think we need to put him in more stuff. To be honest, I think he's really good. He's, like I said, he's quite young. He's quite up and coming. When I was watching Starship Troopers, I was like, Dylan O'Brien could be in this. He could be the main character, and you wouldn't even blink. You sort of just, it's him, type thing. So I think he's really good. Samara Weaving, I've said about her before. She's very young and up and coming. She's done The Babysitter. She's done Ready or Not. She looks like Margot Robbie. I think she would maybe make a good pilot, a good love interest, maybe something like that. Got Tom Holland, because he's in everything. He's more of a big actor, but like he's young, he's up and coming. He's in a film. I can't remember what film it is, but he's shaving all his hair off, and I was like, oh, he looks like a bit of a soldier in that. What's that film? I can't remember what it is.
Chaos Walking's coming out. I don't know if it's that.
Possibly it's that, yeah. But Tom Holland, I think maybe he'd be good in a war movie. He's maybe adds a little bit of comedic sort of comedy to it. I mean, he's similar to a lot of the boys in Dunkirk as well, but he could add a little bit comedic relief as well. Or he could be very serious. It's the same with Dylan O'Brien, really.
Recently said that he wants to be James Bond.
Yeah, I don't quite see that. I mean, he's a bit young, isn't he? Idris Elba needs to be the next James Bond. I know he's a bit old, but I think he'd be brilliant James Bond. He's very, very typical English suave kind of guy, I think, anyway. But also rough and gruff. So now I've gone for have you ever seen Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix?
Yeah.
So Liv Hewson and Skylar Gisondo, they're the daughter. She's the daughter, and he's the friend / love interest.
Yeah,
they work really well together. I think they could be in this movie together as start off really serious, sort of joking around, like, yeah, we're going to go to war. A bit like Starship Troopers, how it promotes war and it glorifies war, and how, amazing it is to be a soldier and all this, that, and the other. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go to war. They're joking around and everything. They get down, boots on the ground, infantry, they lose their goddamn minds because people are dying left, right, and centre. And the Skylar Gisondo, seeing him lose his mind is really funny, but he also really sells it at the same time. He's brilliant in Santa Clarita Diet. He needs to be in more stuff as well. He's in Vacation remake as well, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds very much Jojo Rabbit, where he wants to be a Nazi, and then he's in a battle, and he's like, oh, this is not
that's
great.
It. So they're like, they glorify it, and then he gets boots on the ground, weapon in his hand, And he looks around and everyone's just dying. He doesn't know
Yeah.
what to do. He loses his goddamn mind. Maybe Liv Hewson's the pilot. He's trying to be all serious all of a sudden. She don't understand what's going on. I think she's a really good actress. She's in a couple of other things as well at the moment. So she'd be a good one to get. I've put Millie Bobby Brown as a question mark. I'm not sure how. I don't know if she's maybe too young. Probably is. But I think she's an all-round good actress. And maybe in a couple of years, she might suit this role of, especially, shaves her head off a lot for Stranger Things. So, possibly her. I don't know. But I've stolen, and these are probably the three I would choose for my main cast. They're the Power Rangers from the Power Rangers reboot. Daka Montgomery, RJ Cyler, and Ludi Lin. I've already said Ludi Lin before in the Mortal Kombat movie. They're really good actors, all three of them, I think. I think they are probably maybe the best bit about that Power Rangers movie. I think the females are really good in it as well. Females, there we go again. But I've put... if you're putting Ludi Lin in it, maybe Aquafina as well, because she's in the she's in the Shang-Chi movie as well, so she's sort of up and coming as well. I've gone for sort of up and coming young actors. Do you have anyone to add or anything to say?
No, I think that's a solid set of people.
Yeah, I mean, if given a bit more time, I'd probably have a little bit more research around and maybe try and think of a few more, but. I just sort of thought, right, who comes to my mind straight away? And it was those people. So that's who I would choose. He's Skylar Gisondo. What's he? I think he's in something coming up. I can't remember now, but I just want to. He is a great actor. He really is. He really sells his losing his mind. For my second movie, I've put down voice actors. So I've really only got three. Mark Hamill, Tara Reid, Troy Baker. Don't really need anyone else. Maybe Nathan Fillion, he does a bit of voice work. Maybe Nolan North. Maybe, what's her name? Cissy Jones. She's a video game voice actress. She's really good. You can't really go wrong with it. I'll tell you what, Tom Kenny, put him in there as well. Because you're never going to see them. You're not going to see their faces. They're ODST. You need these big voices that you can go, well, that's that one, that's that one, that's that one. That you can hear their voice and go, well, that's that character, and then that's that character. Without you don't want everyone to sound the same. Do you recommend any good voice actors?
I'll chuck in JAT, James Arnold Taylor, because he's fantastic. He voices Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. And I'm going to be very annoyed if he doesn't show up in the Kenobi series.
What about, what's his name? Starkiller. What's his name?
Yeah. He's Palpatine and Darth Maul as well.
Yeah.
I've lost him. He's gone out of my head.
Days gone. Anyway, he's brilliant. He would make a great voice actor.
Bradley Baker as well.
Who's that?
He voices all the clones, and also he voices Gravemind.
Oh, does he? Oh no, that's interesting. Yeah. I did not know that. There you go. Yeah, he'd be a good choice. Just to be honest, you can't really go wrong with a lot of voice actors. They're all great. Who's the main? There's one that does like loads of anime voices. I can't remember his name now, but he's Adam in the original Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and he does all like the anime. He does Sword Art Online, and he does Attack on Titan. Like he's really sought after. He's a great voice actor as well. So
Sam Witwer is
Sam Witwer. Thank you so much. Wow, dearie me. Anyway, last one, Spartans. So I've just put down. I don't want to. I don't want Chief. I don't want anyone that is recognizable. I want unknown Spartans. I want to flesh out more of the universe. Yeah. So my first choice was Kate Blanchett. I think she'd be a great Spartan. I think she's got a very kind of recognizable voice. She takes off the helmet. She looks, I think obviously she's a bit older, but I think she, looks more experienced. I think she could do a lot. Gerard Butler, a bit of a rough and a gruff Spartan, bit of Jerry Butler. I've also got Mark Wahlberg as like as a bit of a loudmouth, bit small to be a Spartan, but it don't matter, does it? Because he's going to be under a helmet. So Emily Blunt, mainly because of Live Die Repeat. What's that film with Tom Cruise?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Edge of Tomorrow.
That's it, yeah.
Mainly because of that, because she's wicked in that, and she does all her own stunts as well, apparently, in that. All her own fighting or something. So she'd be good. Sharlto Copley. Is that how you say his name? From District 9? The prawns!
No. Yeah.
Mainly because he's in District 9, and he'd be a good sort of loudmouth, bit like Marky Mark. He's in all the films by Neil Blomkamp. He's in Elysium, and he's the voice of Chappie as well, isn't he, in Chappie? So Sharlto Copley, I've put down Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I like him. I think he'd be a good actor, good Spartan. He'd look like the part and everything. And then Will Smith as well, I've put down, just because I think he'd be, if he was on his own, just sort of imagine him in I Am Legend, that he's someone who's seen a lot, he's someone who's very serious, but he's also got comedic relief at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think Will Smith would be very good. To be honest, with the Spartans, you could really pick anyone. Like I said, I'm not basing this off anyone. I just want my own ones. So they're just who come to mind when I was thinking them. But what about you, Ben? What about your cast?
All right. So I'll say it once again. I'm not too familiar with like these kind of their personalities, I guess. So most of these are based off just their appearance. I sort of know some of them. First of all, I'll get it out of the way. I've put the Arbiter as Keith David.
Fantastic choice.
Yeah. I've put Guilty Spark, which is the little robot thing, Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Because he always plays those side characters that can be comedic, and they're always usually some kind of AI or animal or something.
Saying that, Tom Kenny would be a good choice as well. Tom Kenny voices Kevin from Final Space, which is a round floating robot with an eye, and so's Guilty Spark. So, could be.
Next, I've got Cortana. I've put as Ana de Armas.
Oh, yeah, that's a great choice. Blade Runner.
She's in Blade Runner. Plays the characters quite similar in terms of like it's an AI hologram sort of thing. I think she did really well. Nothing else to say there. But Edward Buck as Nathan Fillion, because it's already Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and
that's it. And they use his likeness in ODST as well as Halo 5 as well, which they should do, because why not? Yeah.
And then another one similar, I put Terrence Hood as Ron Perlman, because it is Ron Perlman.
Terrence Hood, who's that?
It's the guy that's voiced by Ron Perlman and looks like him. That's what I got from my research.
Is it?
He's like a captain or something, I'm sure.
Terrence Hood. Let's have a looky look. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah. He's a big main character. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he's like Admiral Hood or something like that, isn't he? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman. Yeah, fine. Yeah, looks like him as well, doesn't it? Definitely.
Sergeant Avery Johnson, I've put as Idris Elba.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Johnson is a bit like a black Gary Oldman, I would say, wouldn't you say?
Right.
Yeah, I think Idris Elba would be perfect. Yeah, definitely.
Dr. Halsey, I've put Sigourney Weaver, mainly because I've based my thing off Alien.
Yeah, and to be honest, Sigourney Weaver, she does that sort of that character really well anyway in other films, like the even not film, but the Defenders, the Marvel one. She's sort of a bit like that in that anyway. So
yeah, I also thought quite similar to Avatar as well.
oh yeah, I didn't even make that. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Jacob Keyes, who I didn't really. Is he like the husband to the Doctor or something?
I don't know because there's Commander Keyes. I don't know if that's because you've got Commander Keyes and then there's another, and then there's the woman Keyes who you see more in Halo 2 and 3. But Commander Keyes, he turns into Gravemind or something. Is he in the first one? I'm not sure.
Right.
Again, big Halo fan, don't know anything about it. So
I pretty much got the impression that he's the dad of Miranda Keyes and that she's the daughter of the Doctor and him.
Yeah, it's like him. Yeah, Jacob Keyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So all I saw was like an old, gruff soldier that's been through a lot. So I've put Clint Eastwood.
Oh, if he's still alive, he's 90 now. He's making another film as well. God.
Yeah. Well, I've got another actor here who's 90 that I want in this, which we'll get to in a second. And then Miranda Keyes, the daughter, I've put as Rose Byrne again, mainly because she just looks like the character.
Rose Byrne. What one's she?
Is
she the one that looks like Natalie Portman? Or is that another Rose?
Hold on, I'll tell you what she's in. She's in.
Is she in X-Men First Class?
Yeah.
She
Bridesmaids, Neighbours, Instant Family.
She in Bad Neighbours? Is that her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does look like Natalie Portman, I think, anyway. But yeah, that would work well. Yeah.
Yeah. What have I got left? Master Chief, I've put just have the voice be the voice actor who does him in the games.
You can't. And see, this is what I'm worried about with this Showtime. If they revoice him, they're going to lose so many fans because he's such an iconic voice, you know. And it would be a damn shame to recast him, I think, anyway.
Yeah. I haven't put anyone as the physicality.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah.
Get Dave Bautista. There you go.
Yeah. Why not? And then I've put 4 names for the High Prophets. Now, as I say, I don't really know what they're about. Yeah. But I just got the impression that they're sort of like godly figures.
Yeah.
That should be very commanding in like delivery. So I've just chosen 4 actors that have got very demanding voices.
Yeah.
They're all very old. I don't know if any of them would do a movie anymore. The first one is Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, who did Lion King 2 years ago.
I think
he's in the Coming to America sequel.
Yeah. I don't think he's quite retired. I think he's just taken a back step. Does what he wants, you know.
Yeah, but he is 90 years old. So
is he really?
Yeah.
God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's the oldest one out of the 4 I've chosen. I thought he was the youngest.
Yeah.
The next one I've got Morgan Freeman. He's got a voice. Next one, Anthony Hopkins. He's got a voice.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I think is actually in the games. From what I found, is Terrence Stamp.
Terrence Stamp. Who's
got a commanding voice. He's Chancellor Valorum in episode 1.
Right.
I think he's General Zod in the old Supermans.
Okay. I'm with you now. Yeah.
But again, all 4 of those are quite old now. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's sort of I genuinely can't get over James Earl Jones being 90. That is insane. Yeah. Like, just flashback. Is it maybe 10 years ago when he was in The Big Bang Theory pulling pranks on Carrie Fisher?
Yeah.
What has happened? Jesus Christ. So Yeah, genuinely stumped. But yeah, they all sound good. Old, commanding. You probably won't need them in there for long. Maybe a couple lines each. Yeah, perfect.
And that's all the characters I've got, because I don't know if I'm missing any really obvious ones, because I don't really know.
I'd say if you're putting Locke in there, keep the actor who played Spartan Locke. I really need to look this up. I can't remember his name. He's such a good actor as well. Locke. And he's played by... No, it's coming up with John Locke. Who's John Locke? No idea. The guy...
Yeah, but most of my actors
Mike
have
Coulter?
already been in...
Mike...
he's Luke Cage.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Yeah. Most of the actors I've chosen have already been in some kind of sci-fi or war or that kind of film.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sigourney Weaver, Alien.
Yeah.
So I think they'd all fit, really.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. I'd say try and get Mark Hamill in there somewhere as well, because I think he'd like to do it. Because he's voicing someone in Star Citizen, the upcoming game that's been in development since like 2010 or something like that. So I think he'd like to do it. So yeah. What about your directors, Ben?
Yeah, I've got 3 names.
I've got 5.
Okay.
6.
All right. My first one, who I'd want it to do the most, I've spoken about Alien a lot. I'd want it to be Ridley Scott.
He's getting old though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's still doing films. Doing films.
He's mental. He said he's going to make them until he dies or something like that.
Yeah, but they're good though. Well, mate,
the
like
ones he
Prometheus,
does.
Alien Covenant.
Yeah, the ones he does are good. I enjoy them ones.
Because he's doing a film this year called The Last Duel. I've heard nothing about it though.
And that got Tom Holland in or something, is it? Yeah, I think maybe. It has someone like that. Yeah,
familiar. But if you can't get him, if he says I'm only doing my own stuff now or whatever,
or I'm dying.
so bleak. You could get I have no idea how you say his name. Denis
Villeneuve.
That's the one who did Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
And Arrival and June. Yeah.
June, or is it June?
What?
From the Weekly Planet. Is it June or June?
So yeah, he's kind of like the what do you call it? Like taking the mantle of Ridley Scott in the sci-fi sort of universe.
He just needs to do. His films are brilliant, and they do not sell at all.
No, yeah.
And
Arrival was fantastic film.
Arrival's brilliant. Blade Runner's brilliant. What's the other one he done? I can't remember now. But they tank. They all tank, and it's a damn shame. It's so good.
Yeah.
I've put down. I was thinking more the Dunkirk way, but Chris Nolan. I think Chris Nolan. I mean, he can do a war film. We've seen him do a war film. For the big, as like stuff's like exploding and turns into slow mo, and see everyone's like devastated.
And if you're doing like the flashback ideas, he knows how to do a time bending film.
Yeah. So I put Chris Nolan. I put Neil Blomkamp, because obviously he was meant to make the original one. I think that would more work as maybe my second pitch with the ODSTs, something like that. Do you want to give one, Ben?
Well, the last name I had was James Cameron, mainly because, again, he wants to do sci-fi
Avatar
stuff. There's obviously connection to Sigourney Weaver there.
And I think a lot of the ships and stuff you see in Avatar looks very Halo-esque, I think. So I think he's definitely, he probably won't admit it, but I think he's a fan of the series. So I've put down Gareth Edwards from Rogue One.
Right.
Sci-fi war movie. Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
There you go. Put down Spielberg, mainly because of Saving Private Ryan. I think he'd probably be good as maybe the third film, the adventure sort of film. Maybe the first film, the war movie. For maybe the horror or maybe the adventure, I put down James Wan. Because obviously he does horror very well, but he also did Aquaman, which I thoroughly enjoyed and didn't think it was a good movie, but I still really enjoyed it. I've also put down as the adventure sci-fi flick, James Gunn. I think he'd be a very good choice as well. But I know you've got a bit more to say, but before I say that, I just want to say composer can only be one person. Marty O'Donnell, the guy who done the original 3 Halo games. It has to be him. It can't be anyone else, I don't think, anyway.
Yeah. All the directors that you've mentioned, I think pull it off. A lot of them I've put in my producer category.
Producers,
I wouldn't really want them to direct it, but I want them to definitely be involved.
Yeah.
So Spielberg's in there, James Gunn's in there.
Yeah.
I was going to talk a bit more, but I'll talk about him when I get to writers. I've also put Ridley Scott in the producer category as well, because as you said, I'm not sure if he'd want to do it, but I think he does still produce quite a lot of films.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah.
So and then the name in there that we haven't mentioned, I've put is Guillermo del Toro, who I think it will give a good fantasy horror side.
Especially with that horror aspect and seeing all the, the overarching covenant and how tall they are and the brutes and everything. That'd be sick. Especially what they called the big shield wraith things with the big gun, the blue spinkly things. I'll look it up, but if you're listening to the podcast, you probably know who I'm talking about because of the. I think they're called. I don't know if they're called wraiths. I don't know. Carry on, Ben.
And then writers, I've put down 3. I've put James Gunn as a writer.
Yeah.
Who wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Suicide Squad, and of course his best works, Scooby-Doo 1 and 2.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's the writer of Scooby-Doo 1 and 2.
Didn't know that. They're hunters. I'm on about. Get Guillermo del Toro to design a hunter from Halo. It looks sick.
I've also put del Toro as a writer as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Who helped adapt the Hobbit trilogy to the films.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Obviously, his own fantasies like Pan's Labyrinth and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's also written the new Pinocchio film, which is releasing at some point in the future.
See, right, Pinocchio is a bit spooky, I think. Like, you're turning wood into a person.
Oh, definitely.
And I think he's definitely going to have some sort of horror elements in it, especially like when they get taken by the whale. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, the scariest bit's when they go to the island, they all turn into donkeys. I think he's going to make that a proper horror scene.
Especially in like the live action. There's a couple of live action versions of Pinocchio, and one of them, they're absolutely horrific when they get turned into donkeys. Yeah.
The last name I've put down for writer is David S. Goyer, who helped with the Dark Knight trilogy, the Blade trilogy, Batman vs Superman.
He's decent writer.
So they're kind of a mix of sci-fi, fantasy, superhero writers.
Yeah, I don't really know who to add to that, to be honest. I think, does Denis Villeneuve do a lot of his own writing?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. I'm sure he has a role in it.
Yeah. I don't really know writers too well, so Anyway.
I've got some composers as well.
Yeah.
So top of the list, I've put Martin O'Donnell because he's already done it.
And he's the best.
Whatever happens, you need that in there anyway.
Yeah. Definitely.
I put down the big boy Hans Zimmer because he can make everything atmospheric.
Yeah. I think they should open the movie, no matter what movie they make or TV series, they should open it with Mjolnir Mix, which is the Halo theme, but with an electronic guitar playing along to it. Oh, it's amazing. It is the best.
Let's do a MIDI version.
Yeah.
I've also put down who I'm not familiar with, to be honest. Who's Mika Levi, who did Under the Skin, which I'm not really familiar with what else he's done, but the soundtrack in that is excellent.
Oh, I've not heard it, no.
In terms of like atmospheric. It's a
Yeah.
great film with ScarJo in it. I've put down again, these are some names that I might butcher, but Ludwig Göransson, who did Mandalorian and also Tenet.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, atmospheric, uses instruments that match what you're seeing.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also as more of like a question mark, I'm not even going to attempt to say the name, but the lady that did Joker.
Oh, really? It was a lady?
Because that's very atmospheric.
Wow.
Well, I can't say it. Hilda. I can't even attempt to say
Side note, women are very good composers, I think. I think they just don't get a break a lot, you know? There's some there's some fantastic like classical music like composed by women. Just give them a break more often. Give them movies more often. There you go. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah. But someone that's going to make it atmospheric and then bring up the pace when it needs to be brought up. That's why I think there will be good choices for it.
Yeah, definitely. What about, did you say producers?
Yeah, I've gone over that. James Gunn, Del Toro, Ridley Scott, Spielberg.
Yeah, is that everything? I think so.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
All right. Okay, well, let's wrap us up. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to leave us a rating wherever you listen to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. If you'd like to send us a question or a recommendation for the topics, more than welcome. Send us an email to playwatchpitchcast@gmail.com. That's playwatchpitchcast, all one word, @gmail.com. If you want to see updates on our podcasts on social media, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/playmovieswatchgames. Alternatively, you can find us on Twitter @playwatchpitch.